Hey guys, and welcome to another Broken No Game video. Today's video is going to be covering jobs and how to limit break and level up all of the things. So let's get to it. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go to gear, profile face, and let's talk about why jobs are important. Jobs are important because they are good at using a particular weapon, and then for this case, Alice Cleric is good at using staves, and Cinderella Breaker is good at using swords. So when someone says, I'm going to main breaker, that means most of their weapons that they're going to be using is going to be swords. Now you do have access to these other weapons, but the thing is these other weapons won't be as effective. So ideally you get multiple breaker classes, so you'll be good at the breaker class and you have lots of swords. So that's essentially the importance of a job and how they work. Alright, let's talk about classes and their skills. So you have two different skills. You have common and class skills. Class skills are pretty much you will do more damage when using a particular weapon, which we covered earlier. So breakers are good at using swords, or in this game known as blades. And then for common, you get actual stat gains for leveling up this particular unit, or this particular job per se. So everyone will get these buffs regardless of the character that you are using. Everyone will get physical attack plus 100. Now the second thing that I want to note is that Cinderella's stage, that means she will only get this buff and she has to be on the stage when she's in use. So everyone's class level 1 buff is very particular to them. So that's the things that you want to notate when you're talking about job skills or class skills in particular. You want to level as many as you can to level 4, I would say. That's my general advice if you're not sure what to main yet. If you do know what you're doing, you can level up to 10, which is perfectly fine. Just know that you want to sort of spread the love between the different characters if you're not ready to commit to one particular job yet. So that's it for this one. So let's talk about how to upgrade jobs specifically. So we're going to go to upgrade and sell. No, not limit break. We should go to upgrade. That's for a different time. Upgrade classes. And you'll see here I have Alice on the page so I can change the classes. And what I want to note here is that I leveled on my right hand side 2 breaker classes. For here, this is a brand new account, so I can't really level anything, but we'll select Alice just for the sake of it. Now, the reason why I leveled 2 breakers is because they give class specific buffs so that everyone who's holding blades gets more out of it. Now, the reason why I said, level to class 4 is so that you can get the common. So for here, I can level up to level 3 because that's how many points that I can afford. So let's go to gear and select edit on Cinderella. She has 4040 attack right now. So let's see what happens when we upgrade. Particularly, not you. Let's upgrade Gretel. And you want to be very careful when you upgrade masteries because this costs stamina, etc. Let's go to level 3, click upgrade. Gonna do this nice animation. Now she's level 3 and we get blade plus 10%, physical attack plus 50%. Let's go back to gear, select Cinderella, and now we are at 4090. So that's how you upgrade jobs or classes in particular, so you can get universal buffs for everyone. And this is why collecting a bunch of jobs or classes is pretty important in my opinion. Alright, let's talk about limit breaking classes. So when you want to limit break a class per se, you need the arcanas for them. So for example, in order to get these arcanas, these are actually they're usually from event stores. So limit breaking a class will be fairly difficult. You'll notice that it goes up to level 10. So to get the last 2 class level buffs, you need to limit break. And that will just pretty much give you access to those last set of class buffs, such as like plus 200 defense or plus 100 attack or what have you. Let's go here really quick. So in Cinderella's case, she will give plus 200 physical defense for a total of 400 at the end of it. So that's how you limit break classes. So really quick for the limit breaking classes, if you want to know where you can get Arcana, you're going to go to menu, Metal Exchange, and in Metal Exchange you can go into Metal of Desire. Now this is the banner that's currently up, so that's how you get more currency. So you'd have to summon at least 5 times to get the Cleric Arcana so you can limit break her. And limit breaking isn't really useful in the early game. It's more of like an end game thing, and mainly for like jobs and classes that you know you're going to be doing in particular. And pretty much Metal Exchange is like the best way. I highly suggest like getting some friends and playing with them. If you want to add friends, you know, you go to home, you go to rank, and if you click rank, you can get your ID, and then you go to menu, and then you go to friends, and then you can actually add people by going to, not here, go to the follow, and you just search for their ID, and that's how you can add more friends. So that's it on how to limit break Alice, in particular in Arcana, via Metal Exchange. So really quick, let's cover how you can get more jobs. And you can get more jobs by going into story, going to main story, and then here you can see each little character that has like a little bubble that's like floating around and doing these white circly thingies. That means there's a job available to you. For example, I completed chapter 2 and chapter 3 on my right hand side. So that means I got these jobs. So if I go to gear and then I select edit and then change class, I can actually see that I got Kaguya in her, I believe that's called the sorcerer form, and then I got Gunner Sleeping Beauty. So that's how you get more classes. I suggest if you're maining Breaker, you should probably get Alice, Snow White, and Gretel. Everyone else, Pinocchio and Red Riding Hood are crushers. I believe Sleeping Beauty is also a crusher, so you can get her if you want more crusher damage. Cinderella is a archer, and then Kaguya is our soul pole arm user. So that's it for this one. Alright, so now we're going to upgrade all of the gears, all of the nightmares. The first thing you're going to be presented with, this is a different screen if you're already upgrading stuff. You're actually going to be on this screen, usually the weapons. So on the left hand side, let's just look at the weapons. This is a reroll account. And for example, I don't like leveling A ranks, but I have dupes of these, so that's what I'm going to use for this example particularly. Never level any A ranks whatsoever. Ideally, you just level, you know, S ranks and above. So let's go to this A rank. And the reason why I'm going to this A rank is because I want to show you how to level up skills. It's pretty easy to level up weapons in general. If you want to level up a weapon, ideally, you click these weapon EXP ups, and then, you know, you can level from there. But then, like I said earlier, do not level up an A rank weapon. So you're going to click this dupe, and what it does is it actually levels up the skill. So that's the biggest thing that I wanted to notate. You don't want to level up skills. This is actually like something I don't recommend doing, and I'll show you why right after. So let's go back and go back. And then on the right hand side, we're going to go to armor. You get all this armor from pretty much story and some of the events that's currently happening in the game. In order to upgrade it, you know, just click the plus button, and then you can actually get these EXP level ups from some of the events that's occurring throughout the day. And the next thing you want to do, go back one more time, and then, you know, upgrade gear, my bad, go to change base, and then go to nightmare. And then in nightmare, you can actually select the units that you want to level. And then in particular, if you want to level Fina, she has the pre-reg reward that's free. You click the plus, and then you use these EXP ones. I don't recommend using these extra monster ones. You can if you don't have any particular use for them, but I'm going to show you why really quickly on why you shouldn't. So let's go back and let's talk about the evolving system. So in order to evolve gear, they have to be at max level. So for this snowflake spear, it has to be at level 60, and I have to have this, pretty much this material. You can get them through the events page. Same thing applies for armor. It needs this material, and you can get this via the events page. And then for nightmares, you can evolve them as well. You can get these at the events page, and pretty much you have to have max level. So that's the overall theme for evolving something. And when you evolve something, it'll go from SR to L for weapons, and then for, I believe since this is an S, it'll go to double S for this nightmare in particular. The next thing you want to go to, let's go back, and let's go to limit break. And then limit break, the reason why I said save your summons earlier was I have this summon in particularly saved, and you're going to select the dupes of them. Really quick, let's go back. It's 244 right now. Just look at the attack, right? And if I select these three, that's going to go up to 304. That's why I say save like the extra summons that you have, so you know you get a little bit of stat boosts. Now, I don't recommend leveling up these A rank plants. but I do suggest at least limit breaking them so you can get some use out of them. And this is why I said I don't recommend upgrading your skills, because you need at least, let's change the base, and select that hammer earlier. You will never do this on an A rank, this is purely for example purposes. So you're going to hit plus again, and you're going to select this, hit OK, and when I hit OK, it's actually going to do it, right? So for the sake of it, we're going to do it, hit OK. Alright, thank God. So the stats did actually go up. It costs 800 gold, but you will get like this metal back, so you can use it for metal exchange. Now I highly recommend using your dupes to limit break, because getting skills isn't as important in my opinion, unless you don't care about limit breaking your weapons, and that's fine too. You know, to each is their own, but that's my suggestion for you guys. So when you go to upgrade skill or upgrade and sell, ideally you go upgrade gear and then evolve gear. But you know, if you don't really care in particular, you can just limit. I highly suggest limit breaking nightmares as soon as you get them, at least the A rank ones. Don't use them as fodder for EXP for higher level nightmares, because it's very hard to get nightmares as a free to play. And then for upgrading gear, make sure that you're spending your resources appropriately. So for example, weapons, you level them up evenly. So for me, I'm maining like swords and physical attacks. Or I'm using a weapon grid that's particular into using a DPS. So I'm leveling up swords. Now I did level up the spear just for extra DPS throughout the story mode. You don't have to do that, but I'm just upgrading everything that's SR on my DPS grid, right? And if you're wondering what grids are really quick, go to gear and select this character, Cinderella. Nope, not there. Go to edit. And then in here, this is a grid. This is what's known as a grid. So all of the weapons on this area, this is a grid. I have 11 out of 16 on my grid. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.